So rockets are flying over the Israel-Lebanon border, which is a problem for India because Indian soldiers are deployed there, nearly 900 of them. We told you about this last week too. A United Nations peacekeeping force is stationed at this border. It is called UNIFIL, or the UN Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL. Look at their latest statement. It says 2 Israeli tanks fired at the entrance of their base. Israeli soldiers then forcibly entered UN premises. They asked the peacekeepers to turn out the lights. When they refused, the IDF, the Israeli soldiers, left. A few hours later, another incident happened. Some firing near the same UN position. Around 15 peacekeepers reported skin irritation and gastrointestinal reactions. They were subsequently given treatment. And all of this happened on Sunday. Just a day before that, on Saturday, there was another incident. UNIFIL was conducting a routine movement at the border. Reports say Israeli soldiers stopped them and denied passage to these UN peacekeepers. So put together, around 5 incidents have been reported in 5 days. What is Israel trying to do here? Why are they targeting UN peacekeepers? Listen to what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said.
Mr. Secretary General, get the UNIFIL forces out of harm's way. It should be done right now, immediately.
Your refusal to evaluate UNIFIL soldiers makes them hostages in the hands of Hezbollah. It endangers them as well as our soldiers.
So Israel wants the peacekeepers to move. Then why aren't they? Well, for starters, it is not Netanyahu's decision to make. It is up to the contributing countries, the countries who've sent these soldiers. They will decide whether their soldiers will move or not. Now, there are nearly 10,000 personnel at the Lebanon border. They come from nearly 50 countries, and they have a job to do to ensure that the border is stable and peaceful. I know what you're thinking. It sounds like the peacekeepers have failed miserably. Well, they have. It is not a stable border. But UN missions are not just strategic, they also have a political value. Countries of the world collectively decided to put troops in Lebanon. One country cannot threaten and push them out. Which brings us to India. New Delhi has balanced its position quite nicely so far. It has defended Israel's right to fight terrorism. At the same time, India has asked Netanyahu to respect international laws. But in this case, the stakes are higher. Like I said, nearly 900 Indian soldiers are stationed there. What if they are hurt by Israel? It won't be a foreign policy issue then. It could become a domestic issue, which is why a lot of countries are enraged. 34 of these countries issued a joint statement on Saturday. And these are all countries that contribute soldiers to UNIFIL. Their soldiers are deployed on the border with Lebanon. 34 countries. They reaffirmed their support to the UN mission. They also condemned attacks on the UN peacekeepers. Interestingly, India was not part of this joint statement of 34 countries. But 90 minutes after the statement was released, New Delhi decided to back it. India said it aligns fully with the joint statement. So what should we make of it? Was India hesitant to join it? Was India not asked? Or is this just logistical confusion? Only the government can answer these questions. But one thing is pretty clear, Israel's actions are driving its supporters away, especially those in Europe.
Totally unacceptable to see UNIFIL troops deliberately targeted by the Israeli armed forces. We condemn it, we will not tolerate it, and will not tolerate it happening again.
It is unacceptable. It violates what was established by Resolution 1701 of the United Nations. The Italian government, as you know, has strongly protested with the Israeli authorities.
They're naming and condemning Israel. And not just on this issue. Last month, Israel did something unprecedented. They banned the United Nations chief from entering their country. Do you know why? Over his response to the Iranian missile attack. Israel says it wasn't harsh enough. After the ban, 105 UN member states got together. They criticized Israel for the ban. They also reaffirmed their faith in the UN chief. But guess who did not join the statement? Again, India. We don't know the reason yet, but it appears to be political. New Delhi may not want to jeopardize its relations with Israel, which does make sense. India has always believed in sorting out issues privately. So why change that now? Especially over a symbolic move like banning the UN chief. But attacks on the peacekeepers is a different matter altogether. A, because our soldiers are there, and B, because it is a sensitive issue for the global south. You see, these European nations may kick up a storm, but they're not the backbone of UN peacekeeping. It's the global south. Look at the top 20 troop contributors to the United Nations. Nepal is number 1, Rwanda number 2, then come Bangladesh and India. 19 of the top 20 countries are from the global south. Only 1, Italy, is from the developed world. So India has to be mindful of that. As a major power, New Delhi's opinion matters. Other global south countries look up to India for guidance. So once again, New Delhi must strike a balance between support for Israel, support for international laws, and standing up for its own soldiers.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.